Hello again. What the fuck? Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau, and
oh yeah, it's
swimmer.
this guy that sucks.
I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. And I am with the next big thing in books. I wrote a book about a cat once. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact. Yes. Soon to be sold out. The art of the satirical I'm a Cat. A sensational success. But
Are we gonna find out she actually committed suicide or something?
Saseki, Natsume. Oh my goodness! Struggling student from the publishers, please. You need to be in awe of me. I needn't? It's only natural. I feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki even. Yes. What on earth is Sasaki-san doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. That Arthur fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun. Yes. Yes, of course. I know. I presume Sasaki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Oh, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony.
Why is there a turtle on your head?
Because this is what I was wearing during the incident. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Oh, well, you see, I had been asked on that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. At Yume University? After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikitoba. Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or something about 2 former students who studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leaves me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial, struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much! Practically threw that paper at me. We haven't fucking done anything yet, so it's just fucking astounding to me. Alright, stab wound. Yep. That's a stab wound. She had a pen in her hand. Oh no, somebody killed the bird too!
Oh my god, yeah, that's right. But the fact that she has the wine glass on the side with her pen...
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get more details in a second.
Well, I'm sure it's also going to show that she was actually facing the door, and that's how they left.
We can think about this in a second. Kitty! Look, he's looking at his little paws! Look at his little beans! Wait a second, I have spotted a conundrum, a contradiction. This paper features a bicycle, but the bicycle won't be invented for another 4 years. This paper's from the future! Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see our country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory, under strict surveillance, of course. Just gonna keep a close eye on you to make sure you don't commit another murder. That's cool. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance, and the response was... Do it! The detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Very good. Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems, to sell seashells by the seashore. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Unfortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my! Inspector, well, you're dying still! Oh shit, you're right. How unsightly. I do apologize. She's gonna book a beach towel. Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father? No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Oh, but if only I had! I'd never have seen that awful sight! Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Shut up. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on the impromptu excursion to the coast. Dying. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. I got it. I got his voice now. The witnessed scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. A crab? Crab? I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the English one. Dagger in hand as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
But yet there's only one stab wound.
Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime. What? Now, if you'll recall, I promised evidence as well. Here is damning evidence. What have you got there, Counsel? So-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength... Oh, this shit again! She clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. She wrote down their name. Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more. Look! Look at the cacadada! Oh my god, the bird died too. Oh, right. The victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right. The fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Holy shit, it's also a gun! The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Mbami. The initials of the defendant! Ah! No!
Why would her initials be in English?
What do you mean?
RM. Not in the kanji.
What are you talking about? The kanji doesn't exist. This is an American game. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence? There's a bright blue sky outside of the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. Prosecutor Aoichi of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Did you even meet him? Oh yeah, no, she was there. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Alright, that thing I'm supposed to do. Naruto-san! Naruto? That means... Oh, me! Oh my god. Is there another Naruto in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruto in your courtroom. Cousin Ryotaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. As half a lawyer. A crab, you say? Tell me about this crab. You're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san. How did you know my name? In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Oh, the lack. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things so. Soseki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around with the noise and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Also, the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear in the nude. Ah, I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut and run. Or, in the more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hutwise. I wish to hear more about this crab, please. Objection. I did it then. With that accusatory cry that just welled up from... Oh, sorry, I did that kind of half-assed. Objection! With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep within inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruto-san have stood up here on this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel? I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? When? How?
Not you, dingus.
I'm calling it now. I'm willing to bet, like, this guy that's, like, the fucking...
Journal?
Yeah, the journalist is gonna be, like, actually... Like, he's either gonna have no impact on the story, or he's gonna be, like, the baby from the first case in the first game, where he actually is important, and he was actually there too. And I think he was probably the murderer or something. Not you.
I don't think we've seen the murderer yet.
No, I mean, like, that's definitely an Ace Attorney thing, to give you the witnesses, to get you introduced to the game, and then do it later. That's exactly what they did in the first game, too, but I would not be surprised if that was the twist they were going with, that this rando, paparazzi...
Witness something.
That's me. In your statement just now, you said the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What? My turtles are shocked.
Ta-da!
Get to the point, please, counsel. Look in my book here. In the post-mortem report, it clearly
Wait a
states...
second. I remember someone looking at a book like that.
Me? That the victim was stabbed one time only. Right here.
In the kitty.
In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. And Sasaki-san. Me? You claim to have seen Mambabi-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly! But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and... It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. That's true! Then what exactly is your contention, counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Sasaki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! He has big fucking feet. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent work, Susato.
Big. You know what they say about big feet.
They're excellent writers! You exploded at them without objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. Objection! I have an objection! I'm losing! Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with half-baked objection attempted to steal the show. Didn't he win? Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Starter! My head is good at the truth! I really hope that my, like, high-pitched screeching is actually coming back up on the mic. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference. What? Why not? Engage your brain, young man! When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow! And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim! Oh my god, my fucking jaw hurts. Your fucking voice is such a strain on my jaw for some reason.
You're the one who chose his voice.
Oh, you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ah! You're right! I'm in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, And we are back where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. Boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation! Why did Ray pull out the knife? Oh, yes. Going for the jugular. What? No, she was stabbed in the back, not in the neck.